installment of Julian Trainer Projects. We're back at the second Porsche, so just the Boxster, not the Boxster S. As you can see, I've got it in sort of some state of disrepair here. Seats in the trunk and stuff. Doing my best to air out things in here. Did a bit of carpet removal, mostly because of the rain that got into the cabin in here and its insistence on creating mold. So not a big fan of mold. So cleaned what little I could find, and the thick foam pads here just soaked with water, and no amount of me drying was really helping. So I'm just ripping all that shit out. The front of the carpet was nice and dry, so I went ahead and left that alone. But this rear bit of carpet that has the sound dampening was super thick. The pieces that will actually shield the occupant or myself from all the engine noise, I'm keeping those. They've just been outside in the sun for the last week or so, just drying out, doing their best. But the ones that had to stay in the car, they weren't doing it, and I didn't feel like putting this out in the sun. I can't easily put it out in the sun. It doesn't run. Which brings us to today. After some troubleshooting, I'm going with the crank position sensor, or the pulse sending unit. And it's just a Hall effect sensor. And I was gonna try and fix the other one or hack my own Hall effect sensor in there, but this thing's like $100, $140, so you just quit dinking around and buy the right part, I guess. What is up with this symbol, though? It's like, what? I guess this is for guys with wrenches and hard hats, but not businessmen. Or at least that's how I read it. I don't know. And now that the air conditioner has decided to kick on out here in the garage, well, let's get to it. I'm gonna have to raise up this, the top to get access to the engine, which is actually tucked down, just hiding away back in here. If you guys haven't seen a Boxster engine, it is neither in the front or in the rear. It's smack dab in the middle of the car, hiding underneath this panel, which has been removed. So that's what we're getting at. The sensor I need is tucked away back over here, near the right rear tire, which we'll remove. And then I'm hoping to kind of just, shimmy my hand back in there and pull the part out and swap it out with a new one. Wish me luck. We're actually in luck this time. We have the original key for the security lug nuts. Because, somebody really wants your early 2000s fucking Porsche wheel. Oh yeah, that's a match made in heaven right there. Don't be a dick. Use these chalks or something equivalent, like even a 2x4 if you've got nothing else. And then put the tire you get out, you should put it face up so you don't scratch it, and leave it up underneath one of the axles or near your jack as like an extra precaution. That's what I do. And I'll still throw some jack stands in here, but just to hedge my bets, I usually throw this underneath the car, because the width of this is, starting to look about torso size for an adult male. And heaven forbid your jack fails, this might buy you some time between the rim and the tire. Alright, so the piece that I want is right down in there. There it is. Right there. And luckily, it's a 5mm Allen, same as the drain plug for all the coolant. The coolant drain plug, same size. Alright, that guy is deep in there. So we're gonna reach out and touch someone today. Get her. Alright, I will admit, I've given almost no thought on how I'm going to get the other one in there. But, it's definitely a start. Got her. There she goes. Alright, so that's it. Old one out. There's no apparent damage to this part. It just, I don't know. And actually, I still don't know until we hear this thing fucking turn over and start bang, 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 bang on its own power. I don't know that I've actually fixed it. This is just my next troubleshooting step in the many, many things that I've done to get to here. The reason I think that it's this guy is that I was reading on one of the forums that if you're cranking the starter motor to get the crankshaft going, that as the crankshaft comes around and triggers this Hall effect sensor, that you should be getting some kind of signal there, and that signal should be picked up by the computer, and you should see some movement on the tachometer. Now, the last person that troubleshot this was a mechanic, and he figures that the computer was bad, and so he told the owner. I'm not an expert on ECUs or Porsches for that matter, but I was able to connect to it over an OBD2 connection and see accelerator pedal position, the temperature, the coolant. There was a number of things, and I figure if that's working and I can see those signals, lots of things about the ECU are probably working. So the fact that the needle doesn't move, somebody suggested that this was the case on a forum, on a Porsche Boxster forum. So let's give it a go. Installation is just the reverse of the removal. Nice, shiny, pretty parts. Alright, got the immobilizer reinstalled. Careful not to kick it. A bunch of stuff there. And I'll set you guys down here. Does nothing. Score. Also, the other thing you have to keep in mind when you're putting an old car back together, or you're trying to restart an engine that hasn't run in quite a while, all these spider webs and dirt and leaves and gunk and oil that's been dripping down, all that's going to get burned off. So don't be surprised if after you get an engine running that hasn't been running in a while that it smokes or has a bunch of burning smells. It's very normal. Just roll your windows down, take it around the block a few times, get it out on the freeway. As long as there's not actual billowing smoke coming out, you'll be all right, and you'll notice that stuff will burn off in a drive or two, and then you won't have to deal with it. It's definitely nothing to worry about. So I'll be going through and cleaning up as much as I can from inside here, all the leaves and twigs and anything the little rodents left behind, like droppings and little nut shells and shit like that. Just to kind of set this engine up for success. Plus, I've already gone through the trouble of getting the top up and some of these linkage pieces disconnected, so you don't want to, I don't have to go do that again just to give it a good clean. So I'll clean it up now and then take it for a spin and see what else is broken. So thanks for coming along for the crank position sensor repair on this 1999 Boxster. If you want to see how I get on with the rest of the car, getting her back on the road, subscribe, stay tuned to Julian's Random Projects.